Okay, here is a collection of my Autobot Chug line. This is from a long time ago, but this was exciting during that time because this was when these Transformer toys were being made to remake the original toy, G1 toys, but in this new design aesthetic, meaning they were made to represent the character, like you see Bumblebee, but they were designed differently so that they were new, and they actually put in a lot of more details. So this was back, the Chug line was back during a time when they were not focusing on Hypertune, but they were just focusing more on redesigning the original characters, like you can see here. They actually look, pretty cool at that time. But very detailed. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, you can see all this detail. So these were redesigned original characters, inspired from original characters, but with a lot of details added to them. And this is before the current War for Cybertron or Legacy stuff coming out, the main line that's now designed to look a little bit more like the cartoon. And the same with the Masterpiece, that also changed from realistic, highly detailed to more Hypertune aesthetic. So since I have it here, I'll just go over. This is the KO version of MP Optimus Prime, which has the shorter backpack. So I don't have the MP10 here, but you can see, just imagine, the MP10, was cool during that time, but it was redesigned, inspired from the original toy, but implementing their own design and adding a lot of detail. Whereas you can see now the trending aesthetic is Hypertune. So you can see, I mean, all that detail is what you see in the cartoon, including that little triangle, the 4 squares. I mean, I know this because I actually made an Optimus Prime costume a long time ago. So anyways, my point is, that's the same with these original Chug that came after the G1 toy, original toys. So again, these were inspired by the original toys and character, but they were redesigned with to resemble the character, but with a lot of details added to them. And now I want to go over them because I want to just have reference of this collection so my friends can know what I have, when the time comes that these all need to go. But yeah, so let's start. Let's start with Bumblebee. I already did some videos comparing the original to the updated to Masterpiece, so hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So this is the classics Bumblebee, which is really cool during that time. I mean, really cool in the sense that it resembles the character, and it has a new design to it, but it doesn't look like the cartoon. So that's the trending design for all of these, and that's what makes it kind of cool. But that's not what's trending today. It's more Hypertune. Then next was Wheeljack, who appeared in the cartoon with Bumblebee. This is the Hasbro version. I want to point out most of these, like the chrome parts, missiles and stuff that you see. That's because that was Takara's design, to have like all this shiny chrome parts to it. But I'm just bringing that up because I don't have it here. It's still unopened. I have the Takara United version of Wheeljack, and I wanted it to look more like the cartoon. The Takara version looked, had too much details on it to look more realistic. I didn't like it, so I stayed with this one. Even the car number, the 539 from Repro label stickers. So I'm just giving a look because I want to see what I have, and this is really a nice figure. And then let's move on to Jazz. So this one is Takara. This is, I think they're United Jazz. You have to say, when this came out, this was so cool. Actually, it's still really cool when you look at it, and are appreciating the fact that this resembles the character, but it's been redesigned where it has like all this nice detail on it. So it doesn't meet the current trend of looking more like the cartoon. But if you can appreciate this for what it is, resembles the character, and appreciating all this nice detail they sculpted in, which is a lot of work, then I'm sure you can appreciate it. Okay, now let's move over to Sunstreaker and Sideswipe. Gosh, I wish I could compare these with the Hasbro, because there's no question during that time the Takara versions of these were much better. The Hasbro, that's their market strategy department, just forcing the toys to be made imperfect, just to get you to buy more and do all these swapping parts. So I'll give you an example, like the War for Cybertron Black Arachnia. She does not have black tentacles, but then they reissued it in like a 4-pack where she has like a gold color tentacles. So you would have to buy both and swap them out just to make it look closer to the original cartoon. So that's just one of a lot of examples I can give you, what Hasbro's market strategy department's doing, and why Hasbro toys don't look as good as Takara. However, I did mention already that Hasbro got what they wanted and teamed up forces with Takara, so now instead of losing sales to Takara, such as these figures, they now both make the exact same toy. So now it doesn't matter if you pay more for Takara or cheaper for Hasbro, you're gonna get the exact same toy. But anyways, I digress, sharing some information. But back to these two. This is really cool because this is the same mold. So this is basically Sideswipe's back, and this is basically Sunstreaker's back. So, see what I'm talking about? That's really some cool designing. I mean, that's what you have to appreciate with these figures. And then this Takara Henkei of Optimus is way better than the Hasbro Classics version. You know, as I was already saying, at that time, during that time, Takara took pride in making their toys look much better, more like the cartoon with all the extra paint and stuff they put. But again, just appreciate this for what it is. I mean, look at all that sculpted detail. That's a lot of sculpting work. Costs money. This is really nice. And he fits in scale-wise with these other figures. Really nice. And then continuing on, Prowl. I remember being at my friend's house in Rowland Heights and on his computer and seeing the Hasbro version of this. This was so exciting. I couldn't wait to get this Prowl. And again, this is the Takara version with those chrome parts. So this one's much better than the Hasbro version. I mean, just look at how nice. When I say nice, I'm talking about, look at how nicely designed all these details are. It's not cartoon accurate, but I'm starting to reappreciate these toys for what they are during that time. And then his brother, Blue Streak, same thing. And then of course the Takara version's much better because he has a dark gray chest instead of the Hasbro version. So yeah, and then before I get to Ironhide and Ratchet to share my thoughts on it, let's move on to the other cool stuff. These guys always fit together really well. So this is Hound, Cliff Jumper, and Mirage. This is really cool. So again, this is the Takara version, but this does have the third-party upgrade parts. So, such as this thing on his back, so you could put that rocket launcher on his shoulder to be a little more cartoon accurate. And that was another thing during this time, was third party was coming into the picture with making accessories to improve these toys. Actually, there should be an Autobot symbol on one of those sides. But as you can see, again, I'm going to say it over and over, just appreciating, you know, how all the details on here. This is really nice. And I actually think that this Hound would actually fit in much better with the War for Cybertron. But anyways, he's staying here. And then Cliff Jumper. This is the Takara Henkei. This Minibot. This was really cool. And I think I mentioned this in my other videos, but it's kind of interesting how Takara never made a Bumblebee, but so this is Hasbro, and Hasbro never made a Cliff Jumper. So that's kind of strange. And then moving on to Mirage. When I saw this, and this is again Takara, I thought this was really cool in terms of like redesigning based off the original toy and character. I mean, look at that nice, I mean, look at, Mirage never had a weapon like that, but they designed it so, you know, so you can take off part of the car and use it as a gun. I mean, that's really some cool design. So, yeah, that's what I really appreciate. And as I was saying, third-party company was making a lot of accessories. So Mirage really needs that shoulder cannon. So that's what makes this look really cool. Okay, now moving on. Okay, so now this is where there's an issue. Okay, first of all, the Hasbro version of Ratchet and Ironhide were not as good as Takara. But this is where the issue started happening. These guys are too small. So I had to kind of customize this a little bit so they were a little taller. I don't know if it's showing up here really well, but I mean, I think Ratchet should be a little bit taller. So I did, because it's not transformed correctly, so I made him a little bit taller, because he's actually like a head shorter if you transform him properly. But this is where the problem started happening. The scale was starting to become an issue. But anyways, this is the Ratchet. It's really cool. Like I said, Takara was much better than the Hasbro, but unfortunately they don't have a cross sign there. And the same thing with this Ironhide. Still kind of cool. Okay, so now I can get to the issue. This is off. Trailbreaker should actually be a little bit taller than Ironhide. And that's where this problem started growing with this collection. And just to point out, that's what actually got me started with the War for Cybertron, because when I saw the War for Cybertron Trailbreaker, seeing how he looks more like the cartoon than this Chug version, and he was taller, that's how I got sucked into the War for Cybertron, specifically because of this. The scale is off. And supposedly there was a third-party company that was supposed to make some add-on kits for this feet to make him a little bit taller, but they never did. Okay, so anyways, that's where this issue started happening. But there was actually another issue, because continuing on with the Minibots, you know, they did make a Brawn, but I preferred the Takara. And you know, there's some issues, like Brawn never had a black head. His hips should be the same color as his chest. So, you know, but then this is a Legends figure, so you know, you have to expect some compromise here. But this is where another issue started happening, because we have Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, Brawn, but where is Windcharger, Gears, and Huffer? So that's where a third-party company started coming into the picture. So this is by iGear. They made their Huffer. So, I mean, this is cool. It fits in. It's, you know, and I did have to kind of custom paint the legs and the chest for that light blue to be more cartoon accurate. I don't like the red eyes. But anyways, I'm so disappointed that they didn't make Windcharger and gears. They did make, well, yeah, they did make gears, but then he's like a deluxe size. Way too big, does not fit in. So that was disappointing. And then Hasbro and Takara did make a wind charger, which was also bigger, so it didn't fit in. And that was a scout class. So my attempt to try to get the Legends scale, I bought this Robots in Disguise, Sideswipe, Legends at TJ Maxx, and it's not standing here. And I tried to custom paint this with markers to look a little bit more like the cartoon. So I'm trying to get him to stand. So yeah, I mean, see, that's the issue here. This does not stand. I mean, it's the feet. So I'm just gonna point out here is like when you make these small figures, if they don't have ankle rockers, if you want to have that stability, look at, you have to angle these feet, and that's the reason why this Legends is having trouble standing. So he doesn't have an A stance. But anyways, finally, so that was the best that I can do for a wind charger, and there's no gears. So now, being a completist, I'm missing a character. Okay, so, well, let's move on to the Dinobots. Because during that time, during this time of the Chug era, they did not make the Dinobots. And so, third-party company was, it's cool next to Wheeljack, made these. I think this is by Toy World. So this is their attempt to make these figures. I mean, in dinosaur mold, these look really cool. And this design aesthetic, being very detailed, fits in really well with here, with these Chug figures. Especially the Takara with all those metallic. You can see all this chrome metallic plates. So yeah, this is really a nice set to have. This one has meaning to me because my friend Thomas gave that to me for my birthday many years ago in Pasadena. But yeah, just look at this. These are really cool. This one didn't measure up to the first Masterpiece Grimlock, but it's really cool. Just want to get a good look. I mean, you know, I mean, this is really nice set to go with this collection. But later on, way later on, then Hasbro would make the, I don't know what line it was, the Dinobots. And then let's just go over my collection so I can show you. I'm gonna give all these toys away. But here, this is what I'm talking about. The original toys of these, they were purposely not painted to be cartoon accurate. And so right here what you're looking at is the Generation Select. So that's what I'm talking about. You know, Hasbro's marketing team, they purposely do this to make you buy more, which is what I did. For example, like the original Slag, he had a black head like the toy, but this Generation Select 5-pack, you know, he has a red head. The same goes with all of these other characters. They're painted to look more like the cartoon. But my point to this is this comes like so many years later, before you would get some of the missing characters. So that's my point to these. The third party comes to the rescue and makes these, and actually those other Dinobots are too small. The Dinobots should be really big. So that's why I think this fits in really well. And let's see. Let's go over some more third party. This Fans Project trailer for Optimus Prime is really, really cool. He even had a nice packaging where you can just keep it, you know, displayed. Oh man. Well, I guess I can leave it like that. But one of the really, I'm missing an Autobot symbol. But one of the really cool things about this was they designed this so like it was mirrors. So when you unfolded all of this, it was all like a mirror, so it kind of like disappeared. Just kind of like how Optimus' trailer always disappeared. So I thought this was really a cool design. Yeah, I can't seem to close this because this part needs to open first. But anyways, this was the Fans Project trailer. Let me try to see if I can open this. Maybe not, because I don't want to stop recording. But that's one of the issues with the third party is they're not designed very well, because these guys, they're not designers, but they were trying to make money making these accessories and other figures. But you know, I just kind of wanted to share some things about this trailer, because this was expensive, and it's actually really cool. See, like I said, this trailer goes really nice with this Optimus Prime. And yeah, I have the Dr. Wu partners. You know, I might as well just go over them, because I actually think these look better than the official Takara version. So you get a good look. Look at that. This is just so cool. So I was telling you, third party was really good at making accessories. That's really a nice accessory to have. But back to the trailer. Okay, maybe I will open it. It should be gray, not blue. But just a look. I mean, this is really cool because I mean, Optimus Prime should come with the trailer, which he did not. So that's sort of what completes this Optimus Prime figure, is having this trailer, which I think I need to put an Autobots symbol there. Okay, so the Jetfire, I actually didn't bring it out, so let's go to my collection here and pull out the original 10K. No, I accident. So there, yeah, I should have brought this out, but I didn't. But here is the Takara version of Jetfire. I mean, there is that new exciting news of a masterpiece Jetfire, but not talking about that. So this was the Takara version's Jetfire, because when this first came out, this was a classics. I mean, you just have to appreciate this for what it is. Which is, you know, it's based off the cartoon and toy, but they designed their own, they've implemented their own design, such as, you know, this jetpack, you know how it's split in two like Jetfire, when it actually should be one solid piece like the cartoon. But I don't have the Hasbro version, but this one looks way better than the Hasbro Classics version. And that head, it's really cool. And then they give you a mask so you can make him look like Jetfire. So it's really cool. But this is the issue. He should be much taller than Optimus. And so that's why later on down the road, I don't remember, I think this is Generations or something. They did remake Jetfire. So you can see now he scales a little bit better. So, you know, collecting this was for many years, and that's just because of the way Hasbro is making things and when they're releasing them and stuff like that. So this is the Takara version with all this chrome red on it, but yeah, so I don't make this video too long. I think I'm gonna stop here with the season 1. So this is my season 1 Autobot Chug collection, and so I will do a part 2 continuing on with season 2.